This first session of the workshop will be based on the creation of a suitable atmosphere for the group, generating the necessary cohesion and group integration to create the connection that allows for an optimal integration of the participants. The objectives of this workshop are create a climate of trust, break the ice, get to know the group, and group integration. In this first workshop, it's very important to create a climate of connection between the participants. If the beginning is good for them, the development and success in the rest of the workshop is assured. The first activity is introductory. To begin with, the facilitator will introduce himself, herself, and each of the participants. A name round will take place, starting with the facilitator. Then, each of the participants will be introduced by name as well as any other personal characteristic they would like to discuss and why they are in these workshops. Now, we need to explain the tasks of the workshop 1 and brief description of the other 6 workshops. The facilitator should make sure that everyone is comfortable with the task or at least willing to try. We will use the appropriate time to resolve any doubts you may have at the time. We will start the workshop with the activity connection with space and with the others. This activity lasts approximately 40 minutes. Everyone should walk in the space at their own pace, taking into account everyone and everything static and moving within the room. Everyone should concentrate on the outside of the room, space above, space below, and all around. Everyone should look for the dark spaces within the room and go to them. Everyone should look for the brick spaces inside the room and go towards them. Looking towards, everyone should concentrate it on the center of the room. Everyone should include others in their field of vision and smile at the person they make eye contact with. Looking inwards and outwards, everyone should be aware of the whole room and the people in it. Everyone should choose another participant and keep that person in mind. On the facilitator signal, everyone should approach the chosen person and move as close as they can. Optional, during the journey to the chosen person, they can walk, crawl, run. On the facilitator signal, everyone must run away from the chosen person and find the place farthest away from them. Since everyone will move to find the place farthest away from the chosen person, everyone must move all the time. At the facilitator signal, everyone must choose another participant and repeat all over again, and so on. Once this exercise is done, leave some time for discussion and questions, highlighting the feelings of the participants. The facilitator should encourage any moments. It's important that the music is not too fast in this exercise in order to prioritize concentration on the space and help us to connect with it. It's also essential that the facilitator gives all the steps and does the exercise with the rest of the participants to facilitate their integration. The next activity is called crossing the space between bodies and lasts approximately 10 minutes. Everyone has to walk around the room again to find their connection to the space and the participants. At the facilitator signal, everyone must take a clear decision on the journey, focusing on crossing the space between two other participants, whether the distance between them is very short or very long. Walking pace, running pace, slow motion pace, the direction of movement, for example, walking backwards, forward or side to side, the levels, walking upright with bent knees, crawling, rolling on the floor, and the distance between participants. For example, very close in pairs, very close in small groups, very close as a whole group, very far apart, should be guided by the facilitator to manage the warm-up and nurture creativity. The next activity is the tree, which lasts approximately 20 minutes. This is an emotionally complex activity, being the first activity in which there is a strong emotional charge. It's necessary to get it at all times and to make the participants feel comfortable with the activity. Each person should think on a tree that is especially to them because they like it the most, because they feel identified with it, because they relate it to their story, their life, a tree that has an importance in their life. Once they have decided of their tree, they should represent it by moving around the space. The feet will be the roots of the tree, the legs, the trunk, and the arms, the branches. Always looking for contact with the other people and reliving the story of that tree through movements. It's important to allow a few minutes on reflecting to settle the emotion that the participant have experienced and to allow time to calm down and continue with the next and final activity. The final activity of this workshop is the final activity in pairs, lasts approximately 5 or 10 minutes. 2 rows of people will be created and the couple in front will have to reach the end of the tunnel by jumping together. They can't let go of each other. Once they have reached the end, the next couple will do the same, cross the tunnel dancing or perform a free movement. Once all the activities are finished, we move on to the general evaluation of the workshop. We sit in a circle of the floor and comment of everything that has been lived and experienced during the activities. The briefing is one of the most important parts of the workshop, as it's the moment when the participants tell us how they have felt and we collect all the impression, giving them back or as facilitator. This is why it will last approximately 30 minutes. Strong emotion may arise as well as intense reflection that we must accompany and support as facilitators. We can use the following question for the evaluation. How did it feel to connect with the others through movement? How do you approach others in your daily life and how was it different now? Which exercise takes you out of your comfort zone the most? What would you highlight for this exercise? What has turned out to be the most complicated?
Esta experiencia como observador ha sido muy positiva y quiero destacar 3 aspectos. Este grupo para mí ha conseguido ser espontáneo, expresar sus emociones a través del cuerpo y sobre todo ha sido un grupo que después de experimentar todas esas actividades corporales han hablado mucho entre ellos, han expresado sus emociones, sus opiniones, han respetado la opinión del otro y han conectado muy bien. Yo creo que uno de los factores más importantes ha sido que ninguno de ellos se conocían, con lo cual su actitud era más abierta a experimentar algo nuevo como es la danzaterapia. Yo creo que a partir de esta experiencia este grupo va a seguir en contacto y con intención de seguir aprendiendo. También he detectado en esta experiencia un ambiente súper saludable, nadie se ha quedado fuera y se han cuidado unos a otros.
Mi experiencia en este curso intensivo de azoterapia ha sido una experiencia única que repetiría, en el que he podido profundizar sobre el conocimiento de mi propio cuerpo, en el que he trabajado y cooperado con otras personas, y si tuviera que resumir en 5 palabras dicha experiencia, creo que serían liberadora, reveladora, empoderamiento, autoconfianza y autoconocimiento de mi cuerpo.